Okay, welcome to another episode of the HX1 tonner build. So in this episode, we're gonna get this cabin mounted back onto the chassis. So it's been off the chassis for quite a while, so I'll be excited to get this mounted back up. Also, in the last episode, I dropped all the panels off to the blaster to get blasted and epoxy primed. So they're ready to be picked up, so I'll go pick them up today. Okay, so since the last episode, I've actually been spending a fair bit of time on this cabin again, just off camera, sanding it back and smoothing it even further. I've actually given it another couple coats of epoxy primer. So when I was sanding it back, there was just areas that had some imperfections. I wasn't happy with this section here. I wasn't happy with this line. The roof was still had highs and lows. These corner bits, weren't as good as I thought. After getting it in the one color, you definitely start to see a lot of the imperfections. So yeah, I just spent a lot of time just getting it right and giving it another couple coats of epoxy. So I just think if I get it right now, it's gonna save a lot of headache down the track. If I can get it as close to perfect as I can possibly get it, and then the high fill should take up the most, and it's going to be quite an easy job to block it back once the high fill is on it. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with how it's all turned out now. The roof's looking really good. This section's nice, the corners are looking good. That follows the seal panel now. So yeah, I'm really happy with sort of how that's turned out after spending a bit more time and another couple layers of epoxy. Okay, so to lift this cabin up onto the chassis, what I'm gonna do is just use the shed to lift up the cabin, and then I'm just gonna roll the chassis backwards and then underneath the cabin and then just drop it down. So that's what I did to get it off. So yeah, I'll basically just do the reversal. I did support the shed originally just with that steel plate just there, and then on the other side I reinforced it just with them steel plates on the other side just to stop the C-sections from collapsing in. And then also what I'm going to do is just use these props as well. So I've got these props here that I'm going to support the shed sort of roughly about there on each side, just to give it a little bit more stability, just in case. It's better to be safe than sorry. There's not a whole lot of weight in this cabin. I think it's probably around 300 kilograms, something like that. Okay, so I've just got the cabin rigged up, ready to lift up. So I've just bolted the lower door hinges on, and I've just picked up them hinges with the sling. That's coming on the inside, and then through where the window is. I think the center of gravity is roughly about here. I do have this adjuster or chain that I can adjust to give length or just to try and get that center of gravity so it comes up nice and flat. And then on the rear, I've just bolted the rear cab mount brackets. So I've just bolted them on either side, and I've just picked up them with the sling. Couple of blankets to protect the epoxy. So yeah, she's pretty much ready to lift up. So hopefully it comes up nice and square. I have also just put these, I've got a new set of cab mounts, so I've just got a kit from Rare Spares. So new cab mounts, I've just got them sitting on there. Okay, so that cabin is on the chassis now, and what an absolute bitch to get that on by yourself. So I highly recommend using 2 people to do that. It was just, yeah, kind of annoying, just having to wind down the come along and then get off the ladder, check it, get on the ladder, wind it down, check it again, and just at the same time trying to stabilize everything and stop the cab from moving around. It was, yeah, a little bit painful, but anyway, it's done now, so just getting it doing. So yeah, just got to put the bolts in now and tighten the cab down. So if you have been watching this build for a while, you probably remember the rear cab mounts on the chassis have been repaired. So I had to cut out the washers and weld new washers in. And I also had to cut out these sections and weld in new steel in there. So I'll be able to see if all my holes and everything line up now. So hopefully they do. So all the cab mount bolts are in and I've just tightened them all up. So that cab is now bolted to the chassis. Yeah, the holes all lined up. So the repairs turned out pretty good. So yeah, happy with that. Just when I was tightening them up underneath here, I just noticed that the cab, so that cross member there is just touching the exhaust there, only just. So I guess what I'm gonna have to do is clearance that cab out. I can't drop that exhaust down any further. That is basically, yeah, that exhaust is where it is. So I'm gonna have to either tap that cross member in a little bit. You can see that that cross member is all dented in anyway. So I might try and tap that in just to give it some clearance, or whether I just cut a section out and weld a new bit in there just to clearance it. But I'm gonna have to pull this cab off anyway, so I'll have to tackle that once I pull the cab off again. Okay, so I've just got all the panels back from the blasters, and yeah, big thanks to Northside Blast Co in Geebung in Brisbane here. I think they've done a really good job there. Yeah, there was a lot of guys have sort of said that you can't sandblast the doors and the guards because they'll cause warpage and you need a soda blast or water blast or whatever. But yeah, these have been sandblasted and I can't see any warpage at all. I think they've done a really good job. I think it just comes down to the technique and how you do it. I presume they've probably just turned down the pressure, might have used a different media. I'm not exactly sure, but anyway, you can sandblast them. I think, yeah, it just comes down to the technique and how you do it. So yeah, looking at the panels, they, yeah, there's some that have turned out really good. There's some that are gonna require a bit of work. So this door is in excellent condition, so I can't see any rust on the outside or any rust on the inside at all. So that door won't require any work besides filler. So happy with that. The radiator support, that's all good. There is some cracks here that I'll weld up, which is no biggie, but yeah, the radiator support's good. This guard here is, yeah, really good. That won't need any work on that one, apart from the filler. But this guard here, it's a little bit average. There's, yeah, some Swiss cheese there. So I'll probably cut that out and weld a patch in there. And it's just got a heap of holes, which will need welding up, which is no biggie. There's a few sort of dents and stuff. I don't know if you can see that, but there's some dents and stuff. So yeah, that might need a bit of dollying and yeah, filler obviously. And then yeah, this door here is in, it's not too bad. There's some kind of like pitting or something there. There's a few little sort of, I don't know what that is, like grinder marks or something. And there's a few dents down there. But yeah, it's not too bad. I think the worst of it is going to be on the inside here. So yeah, that's gonna need repairing here. And then, yeah, this section here, it's all Swiss cheese there. So I'll need to put a patch in there. And I'll probably just cut out a patch here and weld that in. But other than that, it's not too bad. It could be worse. These guards here, they're gonna be all good apart from just, yeah, smoothing off with some filler. And this nose cone, I knew about them, that bubbling underneath there. So I'm gonna have to probably drill out the spot welds and pull this off, and then replace that patch and then weld that back on, and same on the other side. But yeah, all in all, I think they're not too bad. It definitely could be worse. Okay, so I've just got the radiator support bolted in and the outer guards bolted in as well. Everything's tight. I've just got the nose cone sitting on there loosely for now. There's no bolts in there. But yeah, everything lines up not too bad. I think it's gonna need some work. This gap here is nice. That's nice and flush with the cow. But the gap might need a little bit tightening up. So you can just see here, that's a little bit thinner and then it goes thicker here. So I might build up some weld and try and even up that gap along there. That won't be too bad. Down here, where it meets the seal panel, it's not too bad. I think it might need a little bit of, so this angle here, I might need to sort of take this back a little bit here and just kind of get that to go straight with the guard. So that shouldn't be too bad to get that right. So this side is the better side of the two. This other side, don't know whether you can see, so don't know if you can see that. It's not too bad, but it's slightly raised a little bit. So this guard is slightly raised. It could go down maybe 2-3 mil, I reckon, and then that would make it flush. So I might have to, with this bolt here, I might have to grind out a little bit of that bolt, and just so this will drop down a little bit further. But as you can see, it's pretty much right at its end of the travel when there's like a big gap where I think what's happened is they've die-grinded out, elongated this hole before. So I might have to go a little bit further, and I might just sort of weld that up just so it looks a bit better than just a gap there. So yeah, a little bit of work there. The actual gap here is actually pretty good. So I think that will be fine. But where it meets the seal panel down here, that is a little bit off. So don't know whether you can see, yeah, so this here doesn't really line up, and then that angle there with the seal panel is way off there. So I'll have to probably sand that back a little bit to get that angle correct. So yeah, but all in all, it's not too bad. Just a little bit of work to tighten everything up, I think. I just want to say a big thank you to some of the guys that have reached out to me on Facebook and Instagram, just in regards to the paint and panel and prep work. So I'm no painter, so yeah, this is definitely not my forte. I am learning as I go, but it's been very beneficial to have a couple of contacts to be able to call and message, just in regards to, you know, advice on next steps and what to do and what not to do. I've had some pretty good lengthy conversations, but yeah, it's definitely been a massive help to be able to have these contacts. So these guys are spray painters, and I'm pretty sure the last thing you want to do if you're a spray painter outside of work is, you know, talk about spray painting, or, you know, so I really do appreciate that advice and that that help there. So I'm sure you guys know who you are. So if you want to help support the channel, then hit that like and subscribe button. So I'm coming up to 3,000 subscribers, so I'm about 150 off. So definitely want to hit that milestone of 3,000. So yeah, it would help out if you hit that subscribe button. Also, head over to the Shenke Garage merch store. So there's t-shirts, hoodies, various products there. I'll put a link in the show notes to the merch store. I'll put a card up in this corner for the playlist for the HX1 tonner build also. So if you are new to the channel and want to check out this build from very first episode all the way to the latest, hit that playlist and have a binge on that. So yeah, I think that is about it. So next videos, I think it's probably going to be a little bit more body work, gapping, more repairs on the body, get everything lined up. But yeah, it is coming together. I think most of the hard work has been done now, so it's just a lot of the sort of finicky, fine tuning sort of stuff. I probably am gonna pull this cabin off and everything off again once everything's gapped, and then I'm gonna cover it with the high build primer. So yeah, I've still got a lot to do, but I can start to see the end of the tunnel now with this build. It looks pretty cool to see it like in this state at the moment, even though it's gonna come off again, or all apart again. But yeah, so with that, we'll call it, and we'll see you next time on Shenke Garage. Cheers, guys.